Hello, this is an update to the Farming Simulator 17 review of the Xbox One that I did just over a year ago. Quite a few things have changed since then. One thing that hasn't changed is the pretty appalling graphics that come as standard with this game. They're not changed, they're not going to get any better, they're never going to get updated, so you're stuck with them. There might be enhanced for the Xbox One X, but you're just going to have bad graphics in 4K instead of 1080 or whatever it is on this version. So I'm not going to mention the graphics again, although the machine models are nice, but it's the rest of the graphics that let it down. It's particularly draw distance, popping, etc. Well, they seem to have fixed most of the bugs, and particularly the silage bug, which was particularly annoying, as that was a good way of making money. There's a few other little bugs that have been fixed to do with feeding the animals that are in the game. And just so as you know what you're going to be watching, firstly I'm going to cover the things that I think has improved substantially. I'm not going to go over little bugs and that too much, and I'm going to do a little tutorial on animal feeding. Show you an easy way to go about doing it, and a couple of time-saving things as well. So the first thing is basically what makes this game quite special, I think, now is the mods. The sheer number of mods and the type of mods is it's a bit overwhelming, really. There's loads of different machines. There's even things that make the mud slippier, and possibly you might be able to sink in it, even though I've not tried that yet. I assume we'd have to be wet. If you drive through crops, it destroys the crops, including grass. That's another mod. How mud slips onto your tyres, or sticks to your tyres. Why you would want to change that, I don't know, but somebody obviously does. There's a lot of placeable items that they're very handy as well. You can put buildings that collect almost anything now on the map yourself. You don't have to rely on them being part of the map. And don't underestimate the usefulness of that, because some of the crops like beet, potatoes and sugarcane can't be stored. They have to be transported and sold directly. And if you've played this game at all, you'll realise how fast the amount of money you get for your goods decreases as soon as you start selling stuff, which is unfortunate because it degrades your work. The whole point is that you sell in bulk, transport in bulk and sell in bulk. And the other good worthwhile mods are the maps. There's quite a lot of maps. Some of them are specifically for logging, but most of them are substantially farming maps from Farming Simulator 2013, 2015 and the ones before. But the drawback of the maps are you can get so heavily time invested in a map. I'm 300 hours onto Sosnovka, so I don't really fancy starting another one, no matter how nostalgic it is. But that's personal preference, obviously. At least the maps are there now for you to decide whether you want to use them or not. Other really good mods, the great big grass cutting machine from Farm Sim 2015 and 2013. And the best thing about that one is you can fit a tedder on the back, and as it comes out you can basically tedder the grass so it's ready for feeding to the cows, you know, using the mixing machine, which I'll show you how to do, because they've fixed that now. And as a good bonus, it seems that when you plant a field with grass, you can use that big grass cutting machine with the tedder, and the AI will do the grass cutting and the tethering for you in one pass. So that's a great time saver. I mean, when you get a lot of animals in this game, pigs or cows, they take a lot of feeding, so a lot of your time can be spent gathering food for them, basically. A hell of a lot of your time. And with the game being modded how it has been, and with the little fixes that they've put into it, it's not worth making hay bales or grass bales or silage bales. You're better off doing them on bulk, which I'll show you how in the tutorial. a little tutorial that I'm going to do. Another couple of good improvements is that on the options screen, before you actually start playing the game, you can scale the on-screen help to make it smaller or bigger, and also change your field of view. And that makes a big difference to the game, the field of view. So I'll give you a quick tutorial on feeding animals. Pigs are self-explanatory, mostly. Cows are a little bit different. They have this thing called power food, that if you look at the animals tab, it's the lowest entry under cows. But unfortunately that's the only place in the game where it's called power food. Everywhere else it's called total mixed ration, and you make it using one of these little machines for mixing it in. They're called Silo Kings. You buy them from the shop, obviously, under the animals. So what do you need to make total mixed ration, which is the thing to give cows? You need straw, you need silage, and you need hay. Now hay is made from grass that's had a tedder run over it to make it drier. And here you can see the great big mowing machine. It's the mod pulling a tedder behind it. The dark green is just standard grass, and the light green is basically grass that's been tethered and turned into hay. And both, you can feed both of them to the cows, but the lighter coloured one is for making the total mixed ration, which is the thing that will get you 100% efficiency rating for your feeding of the cows. And you might also notice that that grass is in big piles, and that's because I've been over the grass several times and cut it, let it grow, and then cut it again, and let it grow, and then cut it again, sort of rinse and repeat. And then I've been over it with a windrower to make it into big piles like this. So essentially you only have to go over and collect it once rather than loads of times. I mean, it's not really realistic. You couldn't get them machines to go over that, it'd just clog them up. But it does save you time, and you're going to need an awful lot of grass once you get a lot of cows. And grass is preferable to using anything else, in my opinion, especially if you can get it from somewhere you haven't had to plant it and you're not using your own field. The other element that you use is straw, which is a byproduct of barley and wheat, which you get just, you know, by default. If you do wheat or barley, you can set your combine to leave straw behind, and you just collect that with your foraging harvester. And when you've collected it, you can do exactly the same thing and just dump it in great big piles. That's the good thing about this game. You can dump a lot of stuff almost anywhere you want. You'll soon know if you can't do it, it just won't let you. And you can end up with some really big piles that you then use the Silo King just to go and collect the amount that you want of each to make your total mixed ration, which you then just drop off into the cow shed. And I'm assuming that you know that you can make silage out of grass, which is why I use the grass, because so that's two elements that you basically get for free apart from your machinery that you use to collect it. So you cut it and you collect it with your forage harvester, and then you can dump it where you want and use it at your leisure. And also obviously you've got to dump some and ferment it as silage and then use that. So essentially you're feeding your cows for free, literally for free. So if you've been looking, I've just been filling that Silo King with hay. You can see that red bar at the top, and now there's a green bar filling up, and you can see the percentages are changing constantly. What you're aiming for is 3 green bars. So the top one's red, middle one's black because there's nothing in it, that's for silage. And as soon as you start putting silage in, you'll see the amounts going up. And it's as easy as that. You just wait till they all go green and you've got them full. It's very, very easy. So when you've got it full, you just get inside the shed, the cow shed, and just use your on-screen help until you can find what button to press to actually unload it, which you'll see happening. What I think is still a current bug is that power food doesn't go up with the amount that you're putting in. Silage and hay and power food go up. You can see the bottom two quantities there are moving up. I think it should only be power food that's moving up, because that's your total mixed ration. So I think that's a bug. So you're only getting a third of what you should be per load, which is a bit of a pain, but there's nothing you can do about it at the moment. It is what it is. In the other farming simulator games that I've played, they feed totally on mixed ration and water. If you've got total mixed ration in there, none of the other quantities other than water and straw go down. Straw's like for bedding, and you put that in just by filling this up with just the straw that's the light coloured stuff there, and going in and emptying it into the same trough. It's very simple. You don't have to use that machine. You can use a loader or a forage harvester, or even a trailer, I suppose, if you've got the stuff in there. This is just showing you how to do it at the pig pen with the loader. That's straw that's going in like bedding for the pigs. They use that up and they make it into that manure stuff. But it's a simple procedure, and it all goes towards your percentage for keeping your animals. Another useful mod is this bigger water tanker. That saves you a lot of time running about with a small tanker. This is much better. Another really useful mod is these robots that you can buy that clean the food troughs. You'd think they were pigs the way they eat. They throw food everywhere, and that goes towards your cleanliness rating. And you need these little robots that you buy by Lely. And you need a front loader on your tractor to pick them up. It's the only way to transport them. I mean, literally the only way I could find was transporting them by that. As you can see, it looks a little bit odd. When I arrived at my feeding trough, I made a bit of a mistake. They're obviously working as you deliver them, strangely, and it was sucking up grass from where the cows are eating. You see the big pile of grass there? What I should have done was clear it with the front loader before I tried deploying the robot, because it made it a bit of a pain in the backside to set up. Select your robot like you would any other vehicle, then drive it with the triggers and the controller like you would any other vehicle, but drive it to the centre of the trough, and then using the controller help, get to the part where it says change degrees, and you'll see what I've selected there, and then you just press B to start it working like any other helper on the farm. And these do count as helpers. You're only allowed 6. So if you have 2 robots going, you're only allowed 4 other helpers for any other task. And all these do is they go backwards and forwards in a straight line, collecting up whatever the cows or pigs throw out and throwing it back in the trough. And it's that simple. That's it for animal feeding, other than you can get a larger silo king. It's a mod, just saves you a bit more time. Just one general gameplay tip is that the things that you use in sequence, which is usually the harvesters and the transports, like the trucks, if you reset them and keep resetting them until you can get them all in a block, so you can, for argument's sake, go, when you're selecting the vehicles, go through 3 combines and then 3 trucks. It just makes it so much simpler. It's something that you're always dancing between, and you want them in a block when you're selecting through the vehicles. It just makes life a lot easier. The only thing you have to be careful of is that the way that you reset them is the game makes it quite difficult to know which vehicle you're actually in, and if you've got anything in the cargo hold of the vehicle, you will lose it. So don't reset vehicles that have anything in them, or trailers that have anything in them. So just to recap, basically I think one of the best mods is this, where you can dump stuff that you wouldn't normally be able to dump other places and retrieve it later. It just makes life a lot easier. And they've fixed how trains work. Before they fixed it, when you went to a place that had a train and you unloaded, you got paid straight away, and that made the price go down. So there was not much point in sending the train off. It didn't seem to make any sense. Now it works differently. You don't get paid until you've sent the train off now, which makes a lot more sense. I couldn't really work out why they bothered having trains, and it certainly works for beets and potatoes a lot better, because the price goes down really quickly when you're selling. So anyway, as this game stands now, you can get a platinum expansions for it. It adds another map and extra equipment for handling sugar beet and a few other things. I actually got that, but it was on that Black Friday sale on Xbox Live, so I paid, I think it was £18 for a season pass, which upgraded everything, plus I got extra vehicles like Big Bud Pack and some other things. But it's a better game than it was when it was released. I still have the gripes about the graphics, but as I said, that's not going to change. What I would like to see is just better everything, better physics, better simulation of vehicles, and I'd basically like to see the world have better physics. There's no reason why you can't simulate soil, a plough going through soil and being able to dig, you know, proper trenches and holes and do your own drainage. You know, basically starting from scratch. We've had the technology in games for a long time now to do good simulations of how fluids move, and that's just I mean, Earth's just a fluid really if you look at it, and they could quite easily do it. It'd make it a much more interesting game, and they should have proper seasons in it, and a way to speed up time a bit better, and better financial model, better sort of spreadsheet type things, you know, but where you can tell where you're making most profit, etc, etc, like a real business would. It'd just make it a lot more interesting, and certainly the physics for the vehicles and just the world in general would be a lot better if they just did a better job on it and update the graphics. I'm sure we're there now, technology wise. We've got to have the power to do that, surely. So I'm looking forward to what's coming next regarding Farming Simulator, and I'd like to see other companies put a bit of competition for this one. Keep giants on the toes, because they certainly need it. Shouldn't have to rely on mods to make your game good. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for watching.